ESL Pro League is brought to you in part by Logitech G, Pay Safeguard, TheScoreEsports.com, G2A, NVIDIA, and ESEA.
Good evening, gamers. The ESL Pro League is back. I'm Alex Machine Richardson, and I'm joined once again by my Norwegian bestie. It's going to be Halvor Vendetta Gullestad. How you doing, dude? It's been a while.
It's been a while, but I'm doing good. You?
Yeah, we took a quick hiatus, and I'm feeling equally as good. I'm refreshed. I went skiing.
Ooh.
Yeah, in the mountains, hanging out. It was great.
Up in the Alps?
Yeah, French Alps. It was awesome. I had a great time. You, however, didn't ski.
I didn't ski. I watched CS.
I'm proud of you. I got told off for that, actually. I did.
Really?
I tweeted like, oh, loving the slopes, having a great time, great to be relaxing. Was like, NiP Navi or whatever it is going on right now. I was like, sorry about that. Anyway, there was an amazing major, and he has touched on it as well. But we are going to recap not only the major, but what also happened last ESL Pro League Day. It was a while ago, so we're going to refresh your memory with the scores. Because actually, there were a lot of very, very intriguing games and results. The first one you'll see was FlipSid Fnatic, and I remember this game like it was yesterday, purely because it should have been FlipSide's game. However, I don't know if you can remember it as well as I can, but basically, a twist of fate. I don't know what Fnatic did. They did typical Fnatic fashion. They called a timeout, and they came back somehow picking up the win on Overpass. Everything correlating with FlipSide picking up the win, and that was a theme in the major as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. And this is kind of FlipSide we expect to see nearing majors, like doing gradually better and better, and then at the major, you know, getting as close as you can get without actually making it through.
Bite your tongue, though. We're going to talk about that in a second, because they, of course, are playing today as well. There was an abundance of other results. Cash, of course, for NiP was an astounding game against Astralis, seeing them pick it up 16-4. Right, so we're going to be seeing that as well. This is the table, though, and talking of NiP, there they are at the top of the table, 14-2. We're evidently having a rave here at the ESL Pro League at the moment. Fnatic just underneath that, 13-3, and the aforementioned Astralis, who did fall in astounding fashion on Cash, are sitting in that third spot as well. But keep your eyes at the bottom of the table, because that is where FlipSide currently reside, 3-9. What else kind of stands out to you, Halvor?
Well, I guess the thing that's always been standing out is VP. They're going to get a chance to right their wrongs from, I guess, what's been happening previously in the season. Other than that, it's, well, we've had this kind of battle going on with that fourth place, who's going to be able to grab that for the actual playoffs. And, well, Navi coming into things here, I think they started off 4-4, I want to say, and now they've gotten 6 wins in a row. Up to 10-4 now, starting to you know, get really up close with G2, who had a bit of a iffy MLG performance. So Navi looking poised to actually grab that last spot.
Well, talking of MLG performance, we saw VP actually looking kind of a lot more refreshing than we saw. Yeah, a live VP as opposed to what we see in the current standings of the Pro League. Let's talk about what's coming up today, though, because we have got to go ahead and address that match in hand. We talk about FlipSide. We talk about how they ramp up towards a major. Well, let's have a look how they perform at the back of a major. We are going to be seeing them on Overpass and Cobble. NiP going to be their opponents. And up after that, we'll be seeing SKVP in a excuse me, 2 best of ones. I've got my dinner coming back up, Cash and Train. And then our final 2 games, while I regurgitate pizza, is going to be Mirage with Envy versus Dignitas. Looking forward to seeing that as well on Inferno. Envy, however, I mean, there's a lot of question marks surrounding the French at this point.
Yeah, probably more questions around Envy than it is VP right now.
Yeah, I'd say that's fair enough.
Yeah, because, well, both of them didn't have the best, well, I guess, startup to their major and, I guess, preparation for it. But Envy just came out flat. They ended up last at the major, and they were the defending champions. So you didn't get any sort of answers. You just got more questions coming up from the French side. And VP, at least on their end, they showed signs of life and actually managed to remain or retain that legend status.
Yeah, I mean, I'm really intrigued to see how they do perform today. And against Dignitas as well could very well be an interesting one. But we have to talk about our first game because we haven't got too much time. I'm afraid we're going to have to be quite brief. But FlipSide NiP. The first map, if I'm not mistaken, is Overpass, a map we did just talk about their performance against Fnatic, right? Like, they did nearly beat Fnatic on this map the last time they played a Pro League match. And now, off the back of what was a very intriguing major from NiP, we saw them competing with Threat. We saw them doing relatively well with Threat. Pit is now back. And I think there's a lot of questions that I'd love you to answer from that performance then.
Well, I think obviously NiP just being able to get through to the top 8, it was a pretty big performance out of their on their end with Threat playing in there. I think they're a way stronger team with Pyth. That's obviously nothing against Threat, but the guy hasn't played competitive CS for about a year, and you know, it's going to help having the firepower of Pyth. The guy, you know, has quite a few more hours than Threat does in that side. And for FlipSid, I'm kind of worried because they're normally a team that ramp up in terms of form towards a major, and afterwards they kind of go silent. They just kind of hang out towards that tier 2 area, and you know, are happy with that until the next major comes around and next qualifier. Then they start doing well again. So for now, I'm expecting us to see well, a rejuvenated NiP with their full lineup. And a bit of a lackluster FlipSid, actually, because, well, not only the fact that they, you know, came so close, but yet so far at the major, not all of them have really gotten home at all yet. I mean, Markelov just got home an hour ago.
Yeah, right, exactly. And that's what's going to be so crazy, is he's going to come back off of a flight from Columbus to his hometown, and now he's going to sit down and play some CS. We're almost ready for this one, though. I hope you guys are buckled in tight, because we've got 2 best of 1s between FlipSid and NiP on the way. Your casting pair involves a familiar face and perhaps a not so familiar face this time. We've got ourselves NATO Sapphics hanging out with D-Man to bring you Game 1.
Thank you very much. I thought for a moment he was going to say an old face, so I'm glad he didn't. I'm glad he didn't go with that one. We're just waiting for the guys to sort themselves out. Ironically, Markelov was the first one in server, so like we were thinking, oh, he's going to be really late. This could have delays, could be all sorts of problems. But let's talk about Overpass. Let's talk about NiP. We've got Pit back in here. We were obviously looking at Threat, and we're like, is he going to play again? Is he going to play again? But he is going to be coached tonight. Put in a pretty good performance at the major overall, didn't he?
Definitely. I mean, not only is he, of course, in-game leading as the coach, but he also put in a quite good performance at the major. He had a rough start, and as the analysts also did a good job at pointing out at the major, he kind of was seen as a weakness by the other teams, not surprisingly,
course,
and they tried to hit his kind of position when he played CT, and they got a lot of space to work with. Now, with Pyth or Pit, as we talked about, with him in the team instead, he will not be giving up that free space, and that is going to be the key factor here. Now, you also mentioned that, and they also mentioned that Markelov, he just came back from a flight, and not only is it just a flight, it's from Columbus, so it's quite a far away.
It's a long old flight, and especially Markelov would be in what is in Ukraine. So, oh God, add another hour or 2 on top of what we'd be experiencing. So it's probably about a 12-hour flight for him. So don't know how fresh he's going to be feeling. We're talking about Markelov. He was magnificent in that 5 overtime game. It's a little harsh for FlipSid because they had a really was magnificent in that 5 overtime game. It's a little harsh for FlipSid because they had a really rough old time of it at the major. 5 overtimes against Mousesports finally caved. Markelov played brilliantly in regular time in that one. Shara actually played very well as well. And then they had obviously that overtime with NiP where they lost and went out of the tournament on cash. So definitely played a lot of Counter-Strike, albeit only in 2 games.
Yeah, I do believe, though, it was the Mousesports game that they were thrown out in. But we are actually already...
No, it was NiP. It was an NiP game.
Are you sure?
The Mousesports was the first crazy one. I'm pretty sure.
Okay, well, I'll take your word for it. Well, I think it was 95 rounds.
Yeah, it was a
in
lot.
those 2 best of ones. It's absolutely nuts. And then being thrown out. But yeah, it looks like we are getting into the knife round here.
Yeah.
Pretty nice to pick up the knife on Overpass, of course. Starting off at CT side usually is quite neat, and at least just having the possibility to pick between the sides, that's always nice, just to show you from the start of the game who is the boss.
Well, Pit's in trouble because he's got to get all 5 members. He's trying to be tactical about it, I guess. Trying to work them all down. Look how low they all are. It could work out for him. It could work out. He's going to get 1 at a time. Oh, we needed Shara there, didn't he? Speaking of Shara played really well. World Edit as well, the player that we have talked about over the time. Hello, he's just got 3. Shara's only on 3 health. It's Bondik that's going to be the problem. If you can separate these 2. I can't believe I'm actually commentating. He nearly did it. Nearly did it. So I see what they did there. Clever stuff. Clever stuff. But Pitt almost getting the ace in the knife round would have been impressive. But right, okay. What side are they going to choose? What do you go with these days? Because Overpass has kind of changed over the years. It started out as this fairly heavy CT side. Then the T side sort of swung it back into it. But if you look at the major, it was fairly well balanced overall.
Yeah, I mean, personally, I'm not really that big of a supporter of the idea that you win the game by picking the side.
Yeah.
It obviously has an impact on the mentality of the teams, especially if you go up big on the lesser favored side. But all in all, I mean, it isn't that important. But if I were to pick a side, as FlipSid, who are going to be the underdogs coming into this, and NiP with a lot of good results lately, maybe it's better to just pick the terrorist side and actually, alleviate the pressure early on. But it doesn't look like that's what they're going to be doing. Instead, they are going to be picking the CT side. So we're going to be seeing them put up a rock-solid defense from the start, hopefully.
All right, let's see what they go with the pistol. We've seen a number of different variations, certainly over the major. Watched, I think, every single match I managed to catch in the end. It actually worked out well for us in Europe. Like we were worried about the schedule, but it was like 4 p.m. through till about 2 a.m. most days, apart from that crazy long one. But here we go. We get a kit on Blade, a couple of flashes as well. No smokes on either of the teams, so looks like it's going to be a raw approach straight into B side. Shara's going to get aim punched instantly.
And then Pip comes running in. He takes the first and takes the second, then gets blinded completely though. But World Edit ready to try to put a nail in the coffin in the T approach here. But Blade is going to be the guy who actually eventually falls. And it's a very, very quick round. Seems like it's almost a bit of a throwaway round, the way that Shara peaks even after getting dinked. And then just, I mean, he gets a lot of valuable information, but still it would have maybe been nice to have 5 players alive.
And FlipSid were quick there, so they rotated fast. They were in position fast enough, but NiP's brutality effectively with the pistols. But here we go. SMGs are plenty. We do have a scout, though, for World Edit. It looks like he's going to try and use it early to find this pick at party. See if it works out. He gets the tag. That's Pitt. He managed to catch out. The man that missed out, obviously, on that major. So NiP, how well would they have done? I don't know. I spoke to them after Katowice, and they were fairly bullish and confident. Obviously, their first showing at Katowice with the new lineup. They went out in the groups, but it was a decent performance. They went out 16-14s a couple of times. So they were confident, but obviously with Threat playing for them, this is the first time they're back together as a 5. And, well, they are top of the table in the Pro League, so they've got plenty to work for here. But Get Right's going to be the first initial man. Shara just peeking around that corner while Blade sits on boost.
Yeah, and I'm loving this boost. I like when teams get creative like this. And instead it's NiP. Not really very creative, it looks like. They are just going to be going with the slow and methodical playstyle here and try to rule out all of the small little corners where a pistol could be hiding to make sure they can get onto the bomb site safely. But World Edit getting that decent damage in already. That's nice. And he actually also gets the frank, so that's even better.
Headshot onto Get Right. Immediately gives them pause for thought. Shara completely missed them all going through the door, but I was about to say they've got no information on this one, but Blade with the boost, drops straight down. Exist catches him in the back there. World Edit with another tag. Gives Bondik the shot. Bondik gets another and quickly turns things around. It's a straight up 3-on-3. World Edit lands another shot, and this round has gone completely array. Freiburg's going to push on through. Can he catch Markelov on the side there? World Edit's the problem. He's surrounded, and Markelov gets the shot. And World Edit did all of the work there, and Bondik was the cleanup duty, and it worked perfectly. What a great tactic by FlipSid.
Yeah, it's a good investment. It's always beautiful when a false buy like that comes out. Not always, of course. Sometimes it can be a bit scrappy, but this time it was quite nice. It's nice to see the scout come into play, and in such big fashion as well. What I would have maybe liked to see, there was a guy who was kind of behind. He could have obviously waited to peek until the bomb was being planted, as to not kind of give the opportunity for the terrorist player to actually turn around and shoot at him. But he didn't really connect many shots, and it didn't have any impact on the round in the end. So instead, once again, NiP looking to rule out every single corner, but now they are going to be just accelerating, and then it slows down really, really quickly. World
Edit Get Right with another tag, and the problem with that last round, it seemed for me, is just they came kind of one by one. They were not working as a team, and obviously that gave that singular scout they had all the chance in the world to land those shots. World Edit getting a good old look around, had a great major actually. Even those 2 games, he certainly performed very well. Obviously, a lot of questions over his consistency over the past, certainly here in the Pro League. He's been whiffing easy shots and landing the awkward shots. But at the moment, it's going to be Bondik's going to find the first man. It's Forest, sorry, that's going to get caught down the side there as Get-Right pushes around the corner, but look at that. World Edit catches him again, and Get-Right the first to go down in the round. But now pressure on them as World Edit gets pressured in, pushed in towards site. Blade's going to go on the rotate, but they've already in with the bomb plant. They're already picking up the weapons, and NiP surely will take this round now. Markelov and Shara, something huge to do for them. Markelov, well, he's got the rifle. It's a big investment with the head armor. He has to try and land these shots. He knows that he's aware that there's one around this corner, tries to flash it up, but the crossfire is good for NiP. And Exist and Freiburg clean up, and NiP, after such a hectic second round, they clean that up considerably well. And FlipSid just kind of claps like a pack of cards there. It's just a deck of cards, I should say, not a pack of cards. I don't know, kind of both the same thing, really. But yeah, they just didn't seem to deliver. Maybe NiP, that was almost the same tactic from NiP, just a little bit wider and pushed together.
Yeah, we're going to be once again seeing the Force Buy. Unsurprisingly, we're also going to be seeing the Scout once again from World Edit. He's so good with these sniper weapons and did make good use of the sniper last round. He is going to be doing it once again. He gets one tag. I think he might have even got the second. He did definitely do it there.
Wow.
And meanwhile, Blade actually gets taken down, but also takes a frag with him, and World Edit with a great drag shot. So now he knows Exist is lurking in the shadows of this rock. But instead, it is going to be Bondik who takes down Freiburg, and they are quite low on HP, and they also have Markelov sitting here in the connector area. So this round, once again, could look like a bit of an upset.
Well, the only bonus for NiP is the fact they didn't invest anything into this round because they'd already kept the weapons. They retained those weapons, expecting an easy round, maybe try and run through them. But that scout from World Edit is causing them no end of problems. Exist, as I say, got tagged up and caught by the rock. All of them, 3 of them came round towards that rock on long, and all got completely tied up. Markelov sit ready and waiting. Pit is the only man with 74 hit points that can challenge out here, but look, they're about to push up from both angles. Bondik's going to come from the side, Markelov from below, and it is just Exist now with it all to do. He's got a handful of grenades and nothing he can do with them because Markelov gets himself a second and an M4.
Yeah, and it's interesting how Threat is really being regarded, and he obviously is one of these very strategic leaders, and we saw that at the Major. He actually had a big role in their strategies. They pulled out some strategies that really haven't seen the light before, but here it doesn't look like it's very strategic what NiP are doing. They're just running into force buys and stacks all the time, and that scout is just doing so much damage every single round. He's obviously going to be keeping it, but it looks like it's going to be a bit of a fake here with that smoke over towards the toilet area. So maybe you are going to be seeing the strategies being put into use this time.
Oh, Markelov's going to find one. It is going to be traded, though, by Freiburg. Shara no-knows. There's one pushing through, and oh, he gets tagged up heavily by Forest through the smoke, and now NiP have control of site. But World Edit, well, he's still got that dangerous scout that he's been landing his shots on. Exist is the man that's lurking around the back, and he's going to keep Bondik and Blade busy. If he can find the first shot, looked away, manages to spin back on the headshot, almost locked straight on that face. And now Blade with World Edit up below. It looks like finally NiP might lock themselves down a successful gun round. But it has been back and forward. Nobody able to build bank up in this so far. Get right, that flash is going to go straight past him. And finally, FlipSid back away to save it. World Edit, he's only got the scout. He's willing to take the risks. And Blade's going to get caught out by Get Right on the backside. But 3-2, back and forth every single round. And are FlipSid going to force it up? I don't know about this time. I mean, 5k on World Edit, he could certainly pass off some guns.
Yeah, he could also buy an op, and that's actually what he's going to be doing. We've seen him do massive damage with the scout so far, and this time he's just upgrading that sniper, so this might get even worse for NiP. He's been having a lot of luck actually peeking up to the balloon area and peeking over towards the stairwell that the T's are coming up through, but they aren't going to be coming up from there this time. Instead, they are going to be speeding up, as you say, and Shara is going to be taking down the first player. That's Get Right, but he does freeze a bit, and Freiburg, meanwhile, finds the second kill. Blade going to be trying to see if he can somehow regain control of this bomb site, but it has been lost as Pit takes him down. So now Bondik in a world of trouble. And World Edit should be looking to save this up, and if he can, that's a small win for them, a consolation prize for now. And any gun that Bondik can take off of the T's here will also be quite nice. And it looks like they are going to be trying to actually use each other to try and make this work. And World Edit is going to be picking up the first. Now, that means that everyone is going to be going for it more or less. You would think so, but it doesn't actually look to be the case. NiP willing to save their guns here, it seems.
I mean, that's it. Like, look at the rounds. We've been back and forward, back and forward. NiP not really got the cash to chase them down at the moment. They have to try and reserve what they've got. It's going to be Pitt that's going to try and push around the side. Catches Bondic switching weapon. How would you be switching weapon? You've only got one pistol in your hand, but he still manages to get Pitt down. That's going to be an AK to the hands of Bondic. And they're going to be happy to carry those 2 weapons through to the next round here. Finally, NiP get 2 rounds back to back. Now let's see if they can consolidate on that. Well, FlipSid, of course, World Edit at that top of the board for FlipSid. Has that AWP still in his hands. He's passed it off to Shara. Shara got a good spawn here, maybe. No, Spun got back to World Edit. Okay.
Yeah. It's actually interesting how Bondic was changing weapons there. And it's the CC is the one that takes the longest time to swap, and still Pitt doesn't take him down.
Wow.
Maybe the experience that he didn't get from playing in the major is what cost him there. Unlikely, but in the end, it is going to be Freiburg going to be taking down Blade, and this once again puts FlipSid in a bit of an awkward spot. And NiP, they are reading this quite well. They have 3 players stacked on the B bomb side, and it looks like they want to go towards the A bomb side. They do actually have all 4 players situated.
Yeah. I think Bondic just came over.
Is
Bondic? I was about to say, is Bondic going to pass off his AK because he got double naded right at the start, but instead he's just going to be turreted. It's going to be Markelov below him, but as we can see, certainly on the minimap, it's restrooms where NiP are moving through, which is interesting considering they know the World Head has an AWP. Maybe they just understand the position of him, but they're not seeing anyone right now, so they're delicately approaching it, trying to shoulder peek it, see if they can hear any of those booming shots from World Edit. Still plenty of time to push in, although if we were to look at it on the minimap, you can see there's nobody in A site. It has been completely deserted, so NiP throwing out everything they can. And FlipSid, I don't think they're going to try and contest this one. There's the wall of smoke going down. Should be an easy plan for NiP, and it will be their 5th round on the board. They even mollied it out, just making sure that boost spot just behind the pillar is not covered off. Markelov's going to be the only man that tries to pick something up here with the CZ.
And it makes good sense that he does so. He doesn't have armor. It's a very minimal investment here. $500 is all it cost him, even if he does lose this pistol. But if he does get a gun, that's a big win, because he can pick it up and he can save it for the next round. And not only is that going to be hurting NiP's economy, of course, it also is going to be, it's going to put FlipSid in a much better position here. But currently, 5-2 down is what it's going to be here. And it's not the best position to be in. But Markelov could be finding Exist. But Exist is wise enough to check it. Doesn't actually quite commit to the peak, though, and does get taken down. And now Bondic might be finding someone as well. So this could be dangerous for NiP. They are going to be dropping 1. And Bondic does not manage to stay alive. But World Edit once again saving the AWP into the next round. And that's absolutely massive, because everyone else can buy. It's just World Edit who doesn't have that much money. But he can drop a FAMAS here if he wants to. But
yeah, Markelov also got caught out back there, so Markelov couldn't carry the AK through, unfortunately. It looked very good for a moment. It looked like they were going to carry 3 weapons through, but unfortunately not. Well, here we go. NiP looks like it's going to be a B hit this time. How are they going to try and speed things up? Getright's looking like he's going to move very fast through. He's already through Monster. World Edit is going to get caught completely off guard. He manages to find one. That's Getright on the opener. Shara can't respond onto Freiburg. And now Markelov down in towards Pitt. Not going to get caught out. Pitt himself will be the man that lands the shot and exists around the side. Forrest has picked up that AWP and he's making it work for him. It's just 2 members left, and this speed of this round caught FlipSid off guard here. World Edit trapped in the corner. He's got no way out escaping this one other than trying to shoot his way out. And well, there is a HE on Exist if he wants to toss that in. There it is, lands on towards World Edit and puts him down to 21 hit points. The question is, how deep and how desperate do NiP want these weapons? Pitt is holding the perfect angle. He's going to try and shoot it through the smoke.
Yeah, Pitt sitting in the pit. But World Edit, I mean, one of the most frustrating things as an AWPer is when you have to just try to stay alive with your gun over and over. He is going to get wallbanged, actually, in fact, by Exist, and then Bondic is also going to be taken down by Forrest here.
That was very nice. So Exist have got the crossfire position. You all know the wall. You all know the wooden plank that goes through to the sewer area. He was sat lined up, and they had that one little gap in the smoke. Yeah. It's like, he's passed on by. Shoot. And Exist just lets loose, and immediately they catch him. Very nice crossfire from NiP there. How do you get a guy? How do you flush an AWPer out that corner? Well, there you go. NiP just showed it to us. And of course, that does mean FlipSid are on an eco. Just a couple of upgraded pistols, that's all it's going to be. And a single nade for Markelov, which actually landed very well on NiP. Exist getting donked down to 53, but they're going to push straight on through on Markelov. And this should be a straightforward round for NiP.
Yeah, we've been saying that quite a few times this half already, and it hasn't really been the case, but it does look quite straightforward. It could be an easy cleanup, a clean sweep here for the T's. Get right, trying to find the frag, and he does so, so that's well to drop in. Bondik with the P250 in hand, and really, I mean, the only thing he can really go for here is to get a gun or two down, but it's unlikely that he'll even get one, and he won't. So, as said, a clean sweep coming in from NiP, and that's 7-2 on the T side of Overpass. And we talked about this going into it, that it is not the most CT-sided map in the pool, but it is slightly CT favored, or at least has been. And 7-2 is not the score you want to be starting out with, especially when you're heading into a second map after this one. You wanna get a good start here so you can put on some pressure on the opposition.
We should mention that FlipSid also, they've only got the 3 wins so far. They're down at the bottom there. Obviously, Virtus.pro bottoming it out there at 2 wins. FaZe at 3 wins as well. So anything is good for FlipSid here if they can pick up a win. They almost got one on this map against Fnatic just before the major. Possibly that could have been a warning sign for Fnatic not performing very well. Obviously, we heard about Olaf Meister having the wrist problems or the RSI problems or whatever it may well turn out to be once he comes back from that specialist. We'll figure out exactly what it is, but maybe that was a warning sign when they went to close to overtime. I think it was 16-14 in the end. But NiP looking solid here. But they've slowed things down, and FlipSid with the full buy are causing NiP to look. Bondik could well be important here because Exist is pushing his position right now. He's got himself tucked in with World Edit just around. Are they going to go long? It looks like they won't, in which case it will be short, and that means Bondik and World Edit might be out of position here, especially if Bondik gets caught out. World Edit does manage to get a peek, gets a second as well on Exist, and Pit causing problems, and Forest, well, the bomb has gone down, and Bondik's found that. They know the bomb position. Everybody from FlipSid is rotating towards this, and Freiberg and Get Right got a hell of a job to do here. Get Right's going to try and creep around the side, but Bondik gets himself a second. He may well have no hit points left, but the damage has been done. Get Right will find him, but now he's in a 1-on-4 position. It would have been a 1-on-5. After that one, he's going to try and flash out World Edit, try and push out, see if he can pick that bomb up. It's in such a risky position, 3 directions facing him. Gets the tap down on Blade. This is working out well. 9 seconds to go. Is he going to die before the timer? That's the question. Or will they just wait until the time runs out and then rush his position? They know he's in party. They are. Markelov and Blade. They're going to come around the corner any second now. They have to get the shots in. They get him after the time runs out. That's critical. It means Get Right money won't carry over. But as you can see, luckily for him, he has 7k, so it's not too bad after all. But FlipSid back on the board. Absolutely what they needed. Didn't lose a single man. Lost one guy, actually. It was Bondik went down.
Oh, yeah, that's actually true. But it's a really, really good round, I should say. But still, looking at the economy for NiP here, it's actually looking quite well. One thing we want to mention, or at least something I want to mention, is that Freiberg is actually top fragging right now with 12 frags. And he's a guy who used to be really, really good. But Get Right just going to be speeding up, going to be taken down too, but then gets taken down from Blade in the connector area. He gets taken down in the back, actually. But 2 quick kills from Get Right. And he is known to be the lurker, but this time he acts as the entry fragger, and it just works out so well as he takes down not 1 but 2, and it's World Edit that he drops, who has been, in my opinion, the most important player for FlipSid, and Blade also drop in. Forest on this AWP has actually been really, really good lately. I'm liking this.
Yeah, the adjustment for NiP. I mean, we assumed it was what was going to come once we saw Alu going out. No longer in there. Shara manages to pop out and get Exist and cleverly backs away as well, but he knows he's in a 2v3. He's got Bondik coming around from connector, but he's going to have to hold off. Bondik could catch them completely off guard here. They're not even looking. Now they're going to turn around. Oh, that was timing. That's the bomb actually dropped down there. Pit's going to be aware of that one. Now into 2-on-2. Freiberg and Forest. The duo. Whew. Okay, Forrest going for the shot. I think Freiberg even turned around. I was like, that's a bit close, buddy. A little bit close with the wall bang. Do you mind? That just went straight past my ear. Shara, though, he's got himself perfect position. That smoke is not going to cover off, and Shara's going to get the little pixel glimmer, and he tries to get the shot on towards Freiberg there. Did get a bit of shot on towards it, gets flashed up, and Freiberg finally catch him out. They will get the plant in, and now Bondik on the retake with it all to do in a 2v1. How can he work this out? That grenade's going to help him well. Forest down to 23. Freiburg on 64. It is doable. Long bomb timer, remember, and he has a kit. Molly, gone. Smoke, gone. Freiburg holding the angle. He's going to get caught out. They pushed it perfectly. Great little pincer there from NiP.
Yeah, beautiful stuff. What actually changes?
Didn't get the AWP.
Oh yeah, that's actually true. But what changes the round there is actually Shara. He takes a lot of shots trying to connect onto, I think it was Forest, going in first into the bomb site there, and he wastes like 10 bullets, only dealing 20 damage or so. Then when they actually try to push him, he only has 10 bullets left, and he does get flashed, but I do believe he would have taken a different position had he had the other M4. And that's just one of the things that you need to bear in mind when you have this silenced M4, that you do run out of bullets, and when you spend 10 bullets, only dealing 20 damage, it's a big problem. But yeah, the triple stack coming in, and Markelov with a deagle as well on the top. It's a really neat boost. I think GetRight heard this, maybe? He did look up there, it looked like.
He heard something, but he's like, where's this coming from?
My
What's going on here?
yeah.
We didn't actually get to see it. We heard obviously a lot of things that Na'Vi were going to bring it out, but they never sadly did. I don't think they were ever in a position in that game. I don't think the mindset was even there for the Overpass game. They got kind of demolished by Luminosity, but fantastic first map nonetheless over on Mirage. But here we go, NiP. It is just a couple of upgraded pistols for FlipSid. They are going to try and creep their way. So they're going to be 5 stacked on A side if NiP choose to go there. At the moment, GetRight's just holding connector, so they could go any direction. It does look like it might well be through connector into B site. Well, they're saying that. Exist and Freiburg are pushing forward. Let's see. Wall of smoke. More wall of smoke and misdirection, I'm wondering if this is that's going to be. There's the wall of smoke. No, they're going to be coming in. They're coming into a 5-man stack. How can this work out? Pistols, is it going to be enough for FlipSid? Pitt's going to come in. That wall of smoke working against them. They're not aware that they're up against the 5-man stack here. Oh, a bit of team killing damage coming through there. Exist will finally find them, and Pitt. And well, just 2 members, 3 members remaining. Shara tucked in that corner. Can he get around the side? He's going to catch Pitt, maybe completely unawares, but Markelov with the deagle down long, manages to get himself another. Gets the reload in. Can he find a shot? No, he can't on GetRight. But it got troublesome. They took 3 members down. They will recover the AWP, though, that Forest had invested in that previous round, and it's 9-3 now for NiP.
Problem is for FlipSid that we're getting to the point where them doing a lot of damage on these eco rounds is just not going to cut it. 9-3 is a pretty big scoreline for NiP, especially coming from the T side here. They do have the AWP now on World Edit again, though, and he's been playing really, really well this game so far with the snipers. So I'm interested to see what happens. Yeah. He's actually been doing really well at jumping over the...
GetRight again, done the exact same move. This time there was nobody there. He's just piled straight into the tunnels there, straight around the side. This time Shower and Markelov didn't challenge his position, but he's been doing this almost round after round now.
Yeah, and what actually happened here was that Blade tried to get the return frag on GetRight, doing this every single time, or at least doing this quite often now. And because of this, Freiburg got the spray on Blade through the smoke. So even though GetRight didn't get the kills, he kind of let Freiburg, or at least enable Freiburg to actually pick it up. And that means that once again we're seeing NiP in a 5 versus 4 situation, and they're playing these so well. They're playing them slow, then they have a set play that they pull out, the wall of smokes. We've seen that a couple of times on both bomb sites. And, I mean, they're just reading, maybe not the stack so well, but they're at least doing exactly what it takes for them to get a lot of map control and also, set up for those executes that they've been pulling out a lot.
World Edit's staring right where GetRight stood right now. Oh, he's just going to smoke it instead. Oh, if only he knew. If only he knew. GetRight was about to creep out there, and that smoke from World Edit actually gave GetRight the chance to move around. The bomb is moving towards B site. Markelov's actually rotated, so Pitt and Forest are trying to do the distraction, pulling Shara across as well. Shara's kind of half rotated, unsure whether to go. Exist Freiburg and GetRight about to burst through here. Bondik is going to get caught out. World Edit does get GetRight in Monster. He turns around, gets a second. That's Exist that goes down. Forest and Freiburg ironically clearing out A site, and Shara, who is still on B site, the only man standing, and found the bomb planter. Oh, if only he could have lived. If he could have just took behind Pillar there, Pitt wouldn't have been able to get him. There was only 5 seconds left in the round.
Down to the wire, definitely. They are playing with, everything on the line here, NiP, with only 5 seconds left. He does actually get the kill, but it's good by the 2 other players to come rushing in and try to get the trade frag, and they did. But once again, we're seeing FlipSid on an eco, and it's kind of a shame that they haven't kind of taken the reins of their own economy, because they just seem to be ecoing half of these rounds, and it's really, really very hard to actually make anything of this. And they're showing this just right now with Pit picking up 3. He might even find it 4th.
Well, give him the ace.
Going to be shot in the back, it looks
Spin
like.
around, they're behind you.
Oh, I think he died already. Freiburg took him down.
Yep.
And an assist takes down Bondik, so 11-3. And
this is not looking...
Freiburg on 16 kills.
Looking pretty grim right now. I mean, he had 12 early on, so he's... they've not exactly been eco bashes either, because he's been pretty back and forward action at the start, but that singular round that FlipSid picked up and then lost instantly kind of hampered their economy. It's okay now, they're back in the weapons, but damage is being done. Final round of the half, and if it ends 12-3, you've got to fear for FlipSid. Certainly here on Overpass. Cobblestone will be the second map, which we'll be playing tonight. World Edit with the boost catching out Freiburg there. So nice start from them this time. Finally, FlipSid get the early frag.
And Blade trying to make a play, but in fact gets blinded by GetRight, who gets a lot of map control and actually pushes Blade off of his position. But once again, we're seeing a cheeky boost here, where World Edit is the guy on top who has the angle. And this is actually an interesting angle. It's not really an angle you'd see in upper hold. It's not something I've ever seen, I think. And it is going to be something that GetRight, of all people, isn't expecting. Gets taken down, and that's World Edit once again opening up into the round, not with just 1, but with 2 kills.
And that's interesting because Pit was just in that area and obviously gave the it's all clear sort of thing, and he backed through Monster. Pit actually through Monster at the moment. You can see he's going to find Shara, but the bomb is with Exist. Now he's creeping down long. Everybody is rotating. Oh, World Edit stayed. He's just in Sniper at the moment, and World Edit's found him. And now Exist, well, can he get the plant down? But more importantly, he's got to hold it in a 1v4. World Edit's already picked up 4 members in this round. On for the ace here. That molly's going to work out well. He's going aggressive, and he finds Blade as he comes up. And that's going to lock everyone out. Bondik coming behind him, though. He's going to come out. Oh, he hasn't got his weapon in his hand. Went for the knife switch. Don't know why. It's just like a habit sometimes to move quicker. I don't know why. It's sometimes that weapon switch. But in that position, when he knew they were going to be pushing him, still went for the weapon switch. But 11-4, it's a great first half from NiP as they switch over to the CT side.
And a great half from World Edit as well, who picks up 4 kills in that last round. And I do believe it was the first 4. I think Bondik got the last rank of that round. So very, very huge round from him. And it seems like the rounds that FlipSid have won, it's just been World Edit putting his whole team on the back and just carry them all the way.
You think back to the scout shots all the way at the start.
Exactly.
While he didn't get all the kills, he was basically setting up the kills for Bondik and co to pick up the shots. But the double, wasn't the double boost, the single boost, but the double kill from the boost working out well for him. Half-time, of course, here. We just wait for the teams to ready themselves up and get back in there. But FlipSid, they've got a mammoth task to do here. 11-4 turnaround. Even to get to overtime, 11-4 switch around is very hard. They're going to have to hit the ground running here with the pistol.
Yeah, we talked about these guys, at least at majors, oftentimes getting very close, but never really making it. Now, this is not really the same case. They're so far from the prize, and
you never know with Counter-Strike though. You can have these crazy comebacks. I mean, just look at Luminosity. With 15-6 they came back from against Liquid. Was just bonkers.
And in 2 maps as well in a row. It's like 59 and 15-6.
Yeah,
it's crazy stuff.
But then in the 15-9 they actually came back and then won all 4 overtime grabs. It was insane stuff. And well, also look towards against Navi, they did it again. We did see a couple of 12-3 turnarounds as well, so it's totally doable. But FlipSid, they have to start off very, very strong here, because NiP are generally pretty mean in the pistol. We'll see how it works out though. FlipSid starting out, it's going to be a straight up Glock train. Nothing fancy coming out. There is a smoke for Blade, and well, just armor and a couple of flashes, and the it's going to be Freiburg. It's going to be the sacrificial lamb with the kit. And they are all 4-man stacking over on B side. Freiburg and GetRight pushing straight out. They're coming straight in, and that's the perfect start. Freiburg finds the single head. Ooh, tapped. I think GetRight tapped on towards Freiburg there, but damage done. 2 members down for FlipSid already. And Forrest, not sure you want a one-tap against him, but it worked out well for Blade. And if they can get a plant in here, that's a bonus in this 3v4 situation. There's one of the flashes used out by Freiburg, buying Pitt, Get Right, and Freiburg all time to come around the corner. World Edit was in the perfect position, gets himself one. He's going to get up close and personal. Oh, he went for the reload. Get Right taps him down the second he does. Get Right trying to tap away. Markelov now in a 1v3. Oh, they're behind him. He wasn't aware of it. Exist was there. Pitt catches him out. And that's not the start FlipSid needed. 12-4. We could, theoretically, be looking at a 15-4 before FlipSid turn it around. What are they going to do? They're going to go for the scout. Of course they are.
Yeah. I mean, I have two thoughts from what I just witnessed. One of them is if Freiburg starts stepping up for NiP like he used to, NiP could very well become like this solid top 3 team again, because everyone is stepping up, it seems, right now. Forest, Get Right, they've been playing really well. And if we can get this guy to step up as well, Pitt, that'll be fantastic. And he is going to be stepping up this round, at least with 2 kills and an assist with a follow-up. So World also going to be dropping. And then Forest with yet another kill for NiP. And then Markelov, he's actually just going to get taken through the wall. I'm pretty sure that it's not just the GoTV here that has X-Ray. It's also the NiP players. But
no nonsense there from that round. That's what we like. That's more like the second round that you're used to seeing. You know, the SMGs just come through and just smash the pistols. No messing, no dilly-dally, no waiting for the scouts to get the tags. And they took control of the tunnels, and that was really what cost FlipSid. They were trying to get that retail? I don't know where retail came from. Real estate. Trying to get some real estate. There we go. Use one of James Bardolph's words.
So it is going to be an eco-bash, and these rounds, they are usually quite one-sided. We've been seeing some force buy rounds that have gone either way, but this time it is full eco for the terrorist side, and it is going to be them actually picking up a kill, but then Freiburg finds one good grenade, going to be taking out the second. Freiburg must be finding the third. He doesn't actually, and he also dinks up Get Right. Well, that it does. Now it's all left to Shara, who is in this smoke, and he is going to be trying to creep into a corner. I would do the same.
Pitt's just sat there. One side. He's got to exist with him there. I think he just got a glimpse of him. Yes, he did. Little jump. Hop, skip, and a jump. Everybody using the Grand Prix skin at the moment on that UMP. But here we go. 14-4. Are they going to go fully invested? Are we going to see the rifles come out? We're seeing the AKs for FlipSid, as you would expect. But NiP, they're hanging on. No, okay, here we go. There's an AWP. There we go. There's the rifles. So Pitt's actually going to hang on to the UMP, but the AWP on Get Right. And he's not transferred that. He's sticking with it.
And this beautiful smoke. It's one that definitely got brought into the metagame right when jump throws were banned. Someone had to find that smoke with a simple slow walk throw, and Get Right does it to perfection. And it's a very, very neat way of actually smoking off Monster. Now, Pitt can play this very, very awkward angle, but it can be quite good actually if the T's start running through, because they might not check this corner. It's rare that anybody is surfed up into this corner, definitely.
It is the floaty position, isn't it? It's the one that set Lauren off the other day, and they drift into that position, floating in the corner. FlipSid. They've left the bomb way back behind towards B site. They've kind of spread across the map, hoping they can find a pick here. Freiburg may well be in a position where he gets picked off here. If he's not careful, he's got Bondic and Blade just ahead of him. And they're going to smoke up that position. Nicely timed there. Markelov popped up connector just as that smoke ballooned and caught a glimpse of him. Now, Forrest is going to be aware that someone's probably pushed through. Blade did just have a spin around, but will get caught out here. Forrest just tracking him, waiting for him to turn. Is that enough time? Is that enough time? Oh, don't do it, buddy. Just go for the weapon. Make it easy, yep. Make it easy for yourself. Caught a glimpse, got the information. Well done, Forrest. Gets in, gets out. Now he knows World Edit is possibly there as well. Switches to the AK, gets the headshot on him as well. Forrest playing this absolutely beautiful counter-strike here. Now Shara's picked off Pitt. That's over the side, but Forrest gets himself his fourth. And the damage very much done there. Considering he thought about the knife for one moment, he played it brilliantly. But Shara's not done yet. He's got himself two. Could make it a third as well. We could be on for a cracker. And there's ace for Forrest. Brilliantly done. Just dominating the restrooms, which is something I wouldn't want to say about Forrest.
What a nutty player. Holy moly, this guy, 20-for-7. And, I mean, if the Freiburg Forest Get Right combination comes up again, and you have the players on the side, Exist and Pitt, who definitely aren't bad players, this is just a force to be reckoned with. But you talked about the liquid comebacks and so on. That is actually, hold on to that. thought for a second, well, it's going to be just charging. He does actually get the kill onto Exist and then gets out. It's a very, very clever choice there. But to come back, you need good team chemistry. And we definitely did see signs of FlipSid having a bit of a broken chemistry there with Bondik shouting at his teammates to, swear words. Yeah, I mean, that's the difference in play here for FlipSid and NiP. NiP, a team that has been sticking together for quite some time. Of course, Pit and Threat, the newest additions to the team, where Threat really isn't a player, so doesn't maybe count as much into team chemistry.
It took them a little while to get going here on the T side, mind you, for NiP. They were a little bedraggled at the start, but they've certainly solidified it once they got going. And here on the CT side, well, they seem to have this on lockdown. FlipSid buying what they can, of course. The fact they just got picked apart by one man, that Forest machine. And ironically, it all started off with a great play. They caught Freiberg out, and his buddy came in to rescue him. As you said, 20 kills for Forest, 21 for Freiberg. Make that 22 as he picks off Blade down long. Wolded was looking at making a peek here, but they're all in the right position. Can't find a head though, Freiberg. Gonna hide behind the wall here, but all of NiP are in position. Now, Freiberg gets cut off. Oh, get right. Unable to land that AWP shot. Forest is going to get caught out. CZ75 does the job for him. Forest gets another. And the last man standing is World Edit. And Forest finishes out 23 frags. 8 kills in the last 2 rounds. Not bad going for Forest there. The man that's used to carrying many a game. 16-4 the end score. Pretty dominant start here for NiP.
Definitely. We joked around here early on that okay, SK, a team that's maybe prone to overtimes, especially in this league, but NiP doing us a favor and ending it quick. So if we do see that overtime, it won't be pushing the schedule too much.
Yes, we're mentioning that SK are playing in another league right now in a best of 2. But coming up after this one, it is going to be Cobblestone. That is going to be NiP again versus FlipSid. We'll see how that works out. Let's go over to the analyst desk. It's going to be Vendetta with Alex.
Thanks very much, guys. Yeah, not the same kind of performance that we were expecting, perhaps after the inkling of a good FlipSid Overpass in that Fnatic game that wasn't too far away. This was very different, though. NiP just have a bit of flourish to their play. I think that ace from Forest was a perfect way to summarize all of the players from NiP and the style that they've kind of adapted.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And they're just like on a cloud right now.
Yeah.
They're getting back to their groove, and they're really playing. And you can tell by the way they're playing. So, and that's kind of what we've been saying ever since we've seen what kind of an impact the Threat has had on that team. They're just solid all over.
Yeah.
Sadly, we didn't get to see that at MLG this weekend, but you know they managed to get that legend status. So, in the end, it all comes out in a positive for them. And as for FlipSid, it's kind of what we expected. It's post major. This is where they go into hibernation. This is where we don't really see too much of FlipSid, unfortunately. But I guess the positive part for them is that going into map 2, Cobblestone is a better map for them than Overpass.
Yeah.
Overpass has been very shaky, even though we did see, as you said, a very good performance from them, which they probably should have had versus Fnatic prior to the major. But yeah, no, and I'm not too hopeful, though, even though this is a map that NiP doesn't really play.
So you keep hinting at this. You've kind of said, you've suggested what the form FlipSid are in pre and post major. Is this something? This is just a kind of opinion of your own, or is it kind of widely regarded?
I think I can get the stats and science to back me up
but
on this.
An abridged version for everyone at home. What are you hinting at here?
Pretty much the fact that FlipSid seems to hunker down and step up their game to another level whenever they get near a major, whether it be through qualifiers or if they somehow made a top 8, that type of thing. Because it's like we know with Markelov, he's been to every major ever so far. Yeah.
All 8.
Exactly, and a lot of those have been with FlipSid, so that just goes to show that whenever I guess the pressure's really on in that sense, because the major is the biggest thing you can qualify for. That's when they they make sure that they've kind of peaked their form at the right time, and that's obviously a skill that this is very valuable to have. They're making good use of it, but. We can't really. I don't think we can ever see that team as a contender to being a tier 1 team because they have these slumps.
And I mean, these are slumps in tournaments that are not to be laughed at. You've got 400,000 on the line in this game. Of course, it's not the major, but it's a huge opportunity for the teams to get that vital practice in. FlipSid have fallen off somewhat, 16-4 on Overpass, but you suggested they have a better shot at Cobble. Is this just down to their performances previously, or what are you suggesting that FlipSid have on Cobble?
Well, it's just similar to all maps. They have kind kind of a very strict and I guess obvious way if you look at enough FlipSid games of how they play their sides, but it's a very effective way of playing, and it's well thought out. And it's more down to what your opponent does, if they've read into that and if they've actually watched you play games in order to counter that. Otherwise, it's going to be really tough to just hold back the executes from FlipSide's side. And well, NiP, they're not a team that normally plays Cobblestone. I think everyone was surprised to see them actually pick up Cobblestone versus Mouse at MLG. That was kind of a really big surprise for everyone. But they showed that they practiced something. They said that they wanted people to pick it against them so they can surprise other teams, and that worked. So even though NiP hasn't played it often, they've probably done their homework for it. So that's going to be the struggle for FlipSide.
And I'm primarily just impressed by that performance on Overpass. It did feel like they were almost playing, there was a casual air to their style of play, as what is the way I describe it. But we are going to be dissecting Cobble a little more after our break. We're going to take a quick one, guys. When we come back, it will be map 2 of our 6-game day. Don't go anywhere.